Welcome to part 2 of our live training session here with our supercharged LS swap 944 Porsche. In the last video, we learned how to create our base map for all the modifications that have been done to our vehicle. Now we're ready to test that base map out, get the engine fired up and running, tune our idle control, tune our fuel and spark timing idle, and making sure that as we shut off the engine and start it again, it's going to be able to start up, hold its own idle, and everything is going to be ready then for the next few iterations in the calibration process. So without further wait, let's jump into this video so we can check out getting our engine fired up and running using our Holley Terminator X. Welcome back to our live training session here with our supercharged LS swap Porsche 944. Now we went over in the last video how to create a base calibration file for this particular vehicle. So we set up everything for the sensor inputs, setting up everything for the fuel system, going in and dialing in a VE table so that we have something reasonable to start with, setting up a spark timing table that's going to be conservative and safe to begin our calibration process with. This video, we're going to be uploading the file to the Terminator X. We're going to go through a basic sensor check, making sure all the sensor data looks reasonable. Then we're going to actually get the engine fired up and running. We're going to start to evaluate the idle control and the idle fueling. Now, we may need to go in and tweak some of the injector data. I'll talk about what to do, what to look for, and how to go and accomplish all of that once we get to that point in time. What we first need to do is actually take that base file that we created. I have that open in my Terminator X 2.0 software here. We can see at the top, we just called that base file. We're going to go up here into sync with ECU. When we sync with the ECU, it's going to allow us to send all of this changes that we've made, all these individual configuration files, send it to the Terminator X. That'll allow us to start off our process here. So we're going to go to send to ECU and allow that to go through the process of sending all of this data, essentially sending the base file, the base global file that we've created in that last video that's specific to this vehicle. It'll give us a good starting point. So we'll wait till that's finished. What we're going to have to do is do a TPS auto set right off the bat as soon as this completes and finishes. If we don't go in and calibrate the TPS first thing after we upload a new global file, it actually won't fire the coil and injectors. We need to go make sure when we do that. Pretty simple process. We're going to do that first thing here right off the bat. Let's let this finish up sending, and we'll click OK here, and it looks like it's sent. So what we are going to do is now jump here into TPS auto set. This is going to allow us to calibrate the throttle position sensor. So essentially capturing the minimum and maximum throttle positions that's going to be specific to where the throttle position sensors fit it to this aftermarket throttle body. You have to do a TPS auto set anytime you're uploading a new global file to your Terminator X system. So let's go here to TPS auto set. Please ensure that you've performed an ignition cycle prior to performing a TPS auto set. I have done that. I actually had just powered on the ECU, but what we'll do here is just to make sure that we are going to be 100% consistent with this. Let's just do a power cycle again, so we don't have any problems with this. Let's power the ECU on. We actually hear the fuel pump prime now. I turned on the key before and it wasn't priming the fuel pump because we didn't have a file loaded. So let's go up here to TPS auto set, try this again. It's going to say the same thing. Have you perform an ignition cycle, which we just did. Let's click OK. It's going to say click start when you're ready to begin, and then press down the accelerator pedal slowly to the floor. Come back again and do that twice. I'm going to do that right now. So all the way to the floor, come all the way off, do it slowly so it registers all of the throttle movement, all the way down, come all the way off, and click done. And we can see TPS auto set was successful, meaning it accepted the minimum and maximum positions that it just learned from doing that throttle sweep. Let's click OK. Next thing we're going to do here is jump into USB link. That's going to create the communications between the Terminator X and my laptop. So click USB link, click OK. It means that we're getting online with the ECU. If we go down here into sensors, we can take a look at some of our basic sensor information. We see RPM is showing stall because the engine's not running. TPS is showing 0 on a mile off the throttle. If I go and give it throttle here, we can see it's now showing 100%. So it's registering 0 and 100% throttle movement. That's good. It needs to know what's going on with that for things like our acceleration enrichment or idle control. It needs to know what's going on with the TPS. So we need to make sure that that is calibrated right. The map sensor here is showing 96 kPa. We take a look down here at the barrel pressure. It's showing 99.2 kPa. Now there's a discrepancy here. We do have the correct map sensor selected in our scale, which is a GM 2.5 bar map sensor. Now the problem here is that there's probably some kind of a small voltage deviation between where the map sensor is wired in on the car and coming into the Holley Terminator X. We can actually correct this deviation here using an offset. So we're going to go take a look at how to do this. Now, one thing I want to point out is that my shop location right now is approximately sea level. I think 200, 300 feet above sea level. So it's basically at sea level. And we can see that reflected here in the barrel pressure reading. Barrel pressure at sea level will be 100 kPa exactly. Right now, I'm slightly higher than sea level, so I'm seeing 99.2 kPa.
If you're at very high elevations, you might find your barrel pressure showing 80, 85 kPa. So depending on how high of elevation you're going to be showing, your barrel pressure will reflect that. What we want to see on key on engine off is that the map sensor is essentially registering what the barrel pressure is registering. That way that we know that the map sensor is calibrated properly. So let's go and use the offset right now and correct this small deviation here. There's about 3 kPa difference here between the map sensor and barrel. We're essentially going to be adding 3 kPa to the offset so that the map pressure will match the barrel readings. We have to go and break our USB link here, get offline, go to sensors, we're going to go to map, and then here again we selected a 2.5 bar map sensor, which is the sensor that we're using here. And the offset, we're going to go here and say 3 kPa, which is going to be adding 3 kPa to 96, making it 99. That'll match essentially what the barrel sensor is doing. Let's go back here to USB link. Let's go here and send that data to the ECU.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here. And you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.